When we thought Love is Blind couldn't get any better. Oh my gosh. This is crazy, and I want you guys to listen to today's episode. Hear my take on what is happening. It is like cautionary tale time. Like it really is. So a couple things I have to address. Okay. First of all, the finale is happening, I believe, tomorrow, October 6th. So when you guys hear this, oh my gosh, if you guys are interested, if it's resonating in any capacity, binge watch Love is Blind. Make sure you catch up because the newest episodes are coming out tomorrow. Do not want to miss it. And for those of you who are watching, and I know you guys are curious to see what my take is, I am not sugarcoating this. It is a shit show. It is a total shit show. And so let's start. For me, the biggest shit show has been Lydia. I honestly, it is cringe for me. It is cringe. Her relationship with Milton, I just can't. I feel like, you know what it is that she was so desperate, and she's saying how much she craves love and needing it. It really feels like she's coming from a place of desperation. And I just don't feel like she is aligned. She's 30, 31, and Milton is 24. And the age difference is just seems so evident and obvious. And it's when Lydia meets his roommate, yes, I love that he is a nerd, and I love that Milton is very successful in his career, but the way that he is, I just feel like he's a baby. He's just so young, and she's just so much older than him. And when they mention kids, this is what I'm talking about, being aligned with somebody. She's 31, wants kids sooner, and he's 5, 10, he's thinking 10 years. And she's no, I want to be old. And they joke around the whole thing that she's old, and Lydia makes, jokes that he's so young. But at the end of the day, there's so much truth to jokes. And and let me tell you something. I know people that have a huge age difference, and it doesn't matter because they're both aligned. They're both on the same page. That's what the issue here. It's not necessarily age is the problem. It's that Milton is just a baby, just out of college, and he has a roommate, and he's not thinking he plays Pokemon and whatever that Pokemon stuff is. He just is not thinking babies and all the things that Lydia is wanting. And I feel that Lydia is just so desperate for love, like she has said, that she is desperately just making it work with whoever will have her. Oof, I know. I want to hear your thoughts on that. If you have watched it, let me know in the comments. You can also DM me on the Jackie Loor. Do you agree with this? Is this resonating with you? Are you also feeling the same way? I want to know. So I don't know what's going to happen. The finale is all coming up, and I feel at the altar, I'm going to just call it. He's going to say no. That's what I think is going to happen. I hope that he has some guidance and they tell him, say no, because that's what I think is going to happen. And you know what? That's not me being a bitch, me being anything. I'm actually watching out for Lydia too, because the last thing I want for Lydia is to marry someone that is not on the same page as her, and she's waiting around to make babies, and it never happens, and she loses more time trying to make things work with the wrong person. So yeah, I got your back, Lydia. I'm just watching out for you. Next person that I have to talk about, oh my gosh, cringe. It was beyond cringe. JP and Taylor. Ooh, my gosh, you guys. I know you're feeling that. When JP cannot speak, communication is key. Do not, everybody should have, as a standard on their list, a partner that knows how to communicate. And poor JP, it's what has happened to you? Why can't you speak up? I have no idea. And Taylor is trying and trying, and it's just cringe. It really is. And it's strange because they first met and they couldn't see each other. There was a wall between them, and supposedly, right, they were both talking and everything was amazing. And then when they met, the reaction that JP had, it did look awkward. He felt uncomfortable. So I really don't know if it was her looks, and he said something. Now, okay, I have to speak to this, obviously. He mentions how her makeup, she has so much makeup on, and the eyelashes, fake. He said that you looked fake. And he says that he wished that she showed up at the reveal after he proposed without makeup. And Taylor was kind of calling bullshit on JP. He's like, what are you talking about? You never even saw me. So how do you know it's fake? And he was just like, no, it's like you put your face on my jacket and all your makeup ended up on my jacket. I'm like, what are you talking about, JP? Like, to me, this felt like JP is so immature. Like, that's what it is. Immaturity. He's emotionally not intelligent. Like, he just doesn't know how to communicate. I know, I'm like totally going to town on them. I know. I feel like it needs to be said. I feel like JP needs to hear the truth, and because at the end of the day, they're both moving forward without each other. They broke up. They ended things. Good for Taylor to be intentional about it. She was like, these past 4 days has been uncomfortable. Like, she can't even be comfortable with the guy for 4 days on a honeymoon thing. It's like, give me a break. They're on vacation and things are not going to get better. Like, clearly JP showed his true colors. He's not emotionally available, perhaps. He doesn't know how to communicate. These are huge, super important things for the foundation of a successful relationship. And it's not there. So yeah, hell yeah, Taylor, bye-bye to JP. Like, you dodged a bullet. Seriously. I'm so happy that she wasn't like, well, I'm going to have to just make it work. No, hell no. Hell, just to be clear, guys, when you're in a relationship with somebody, things are going to happen. Shit's going to hit the fan. Things are not always like rainbows and butterflies. But it is absolutely necessary to be able to communicate. And JP's lack of skills, oh my God, to open his mouth. You guys, if you haven't seen it, it is cringe. If JP reminds you of him, if he reminds you of yourself, we got a problem. Seriously, a serious problem. Or maybe you are dating someone like JP and you're like, oh my God, that is me. I'm always trying to pull things from somebody and trying to ask questions. And why don't they speak to me? That's exhausting. Maybe you should be as brave as Taylor and say bye-bye. You know what I mean? Ooh, I know, you guys. I know. I'm just ripping apart these people. And does it get better? No, it doesn't get. No, but this is so good. The show is really binge worthy. It's so good. And this should serve as a cautionary tale. You guys can learn what not to do. Aaliyah. Okay, so you guys, have you heard my take on what happened the first few episodes? Aaliyah left. Aaliyah left because Uche, who she was really all about, Uche dated Lydia. And now Uche was like, I was ready to get married. So Uche goes and finds Aaliyah, even though she's left the show. He goes and has lunch with her or something. Okay, Aaliyah, I was like, hell no, bye-bye time. She has major trust issues. And when she found out that Uche had dated Lydia, Lydia was like a snake in the grass. Lydia could not stop talking to Aaliyah and talking about all the details. They just had sex and 2 months before. She was saying he has a Tesla. Lydia was being shady 100%. I didn't like how she was being so aggressive and telling Aaliyah all these things. That being said, Aaliyah should have been more clear and communicated to Lydia and said, I don't want to hear about it. And I feel like there's this whole thing with Aaliyah as a people pleaser. And he's like, oh, okay, you don't have to say all of that. No, bitch, I don't want to hear about it. What do you not understand? Lydia was just going off saying so many things. But even with that, does that warrant, Aaliyah saying bye, leaving Uche? Not even having a conversation with him after they're falling in love behind the wall. He wanted to propose, and before he could, she just disappeared and didn't say bye. And so that to me, And the way that Aaliyah sounded so insecure, just like very anxious, and I know I've been there before. You're an anxiously attached person. You have trust issues. You need to heal that before going into a relationship. And it doesn't seem like Aaliyah's healed from her past experiences. And because of that, she is not trusting Uche, even though Uche has said things to reassure her, and it's just not happening. And so, Aaliyah regrets it, tells him at the lunch, now that Uche tracked her down, right? And she's like, I regret it. Which, by the way, I didn't like how she didn't apologize. She should have said, I'm sorry. I never heard her say that. I was literally listening for it, and it never happened. So that could also be part of this lack of emotional maturity. So Uche's there listening to Aaliyah, and finally decides. Aaliyah says, I want to try this. I want to be with you. And Uche, I am so happy that Uche was no. At the end of the day, people tell you who they are. People always tell you who they are. And I love that Uche paid attention and listened and said, okay, when things got a little bit difficult, or you heard something from Lydia, you didn't come and talk to me and trust me. You didn't have confidence in me or in our relationship. Bye time. I feel like Uche 100%, and I'm so happy about it. A part of me felt bad for Aaliyah, but at the end of the day, that's not Uche's job to freaking fix. That is Aaliyah needs to do that work on her own. And if Uche would have said, yeah, let's do this and let's get married, that shit would not be happily ever after at all. It would be an uphill battle. One thing after another will happen. Something else will happen that Aaliyah will be insecure about, would not trust him. It's just it will be a cycle of total shit. And for what? So I love that Uche was brave enough to walk away. Honestly, that's something that I feel we should do more often. You should do more often. Sometimes we're so scared, oh my God, there's nobody out there. No, there is so many amazing people out there, and you are so lovable. And Uche has a lot to offer. Aaliyah had her chance, and Aaliyah showed her true colors. And Aaliyah has major trust issues and maybe self-worth issues, and doesn't, has all these insecurities. And Uche's I'm not going to fix you. I'm not going to sign up for the maybe perhaps potential that I see in this, because most of the time, and actually all the time, when you sign up with somebody that oh my God, there's all these good things, but some of these, they're huge red flags that are really significant. Someone who has trust issues, that's huge. That doesn't just get fixed overnight, and you can't fix it for them, right? So yeah, Uche's not perfect by any means. Uche messed up on one of the last episodes that I talked about, and he said to her, he was kind of judging her because she had cheated in her past relationship. But I like that he at least owned it and apologized for it, the way that he spoke to her, right? So everyone has their faults and no one's perfect, but I like that he has that emotional maturity. I like that. I like the way that he communicated it. He did it with respect. So I'm a fan of Uche. I really am. And Aaliyah is you got to go work on yourself, girl. Oh, sorry. I didn't know. And I usually always, but honestly, I want you guys to watch it if you haven't and be oh my God, are you like Aaliyah? Oh my gosh, that's important. You need to know that. Because I want you to know how amazing you are and trust that, and not go into new relationships with trust issues. And you're basically going to blow up any relationship you get into if you have not healed from your past wounds. You gotta heal that before moving forward. Okay. So yeah, too bad, Aaliyah. All right. And we're going to wrap it up because Izzy, I can't. Okay. I personally was loving Izzy and Stacy. I really was, okay? But I just don't know where it's gonna go. I really don't, because Stacy's a badass. She drives up in her Mercedes. Izzy's there looking oh my God, this is the coolest car ever. And Stacy has some 3-story home that she bought, and she's just a badass. And I she's awesome. And Izzy seems a little bit out of his element, and he's kind of whoa, okay. And so that, I don't know, only time will tell if he is actually really secure in himself. It seems like he is, right? But like a man coming into something like that, if he is not a secure man and his ego, he's like an ego driven person, it may blow up. Like it may. But as I'm watching, I'm like, they're so sweet. They're so fun. They're having fun. They're like best friends. They're laughing. There's like all this great energy between the two of them. Like I'm really rooting for them. The only part that I was like, oh no, it was like right when I was like loving Izzy and Stacy, Johnny, the girl, right? If you forgot, Johnny was after Izzy and Izzy didn't choose Johnny. And then Johnny ended up now going out with Chris. Anyway, that's like a side note. But Johnny, this is important. The way that Izzy spoke to Johnny at the little reunion get together was beyond, like not at all okay. It was just like rude and disrespectful, lacked maturity. I think if Stacy would have seen it, if Stacy would have listened to how Izzy spoke to Johnny, Stacy would have been like, hell no. You're not going to talk to her like that. Basically, Izzy told Johnny that she's like a piece of shit. Or what did she say? He was like, you're a shit of a person. Like, Izzy has his issues with her and doesn't trust her. But the way that he communicated that to Johnny is a huge red flag. If he is communicating to another woman like that, I feel like, okay, Stacy, watch out. Like if you make some kind of step, like, you know, incorrect step or get him mad or whatever, is he going to disrespect you too? Like what's going on with him speaking to another woman like that? What's his relationship with his mom? Like I want to know things. Like I want to know what's going on with him and his upbringing. Like where in his life did he learn that it's okay to speak to a woman like that? And so, yeah, like I can't imagine Will ever, like in my life, ever speaking like that to anybody, you know? So I'm like, I like to surround myself with good human beings that are mature and know how to communicate. Have I been an asshole in my past and communicate in a shit way? Yeah, when I was like a little shit immature, right? So that this makes me really question Izzy. He's 29 years old, right? Stacy's I think 33, but she's just a lot more mature than him. And so to me, that should be on Stacy's radar. Like, okay, emotional maturity. Are you there? You know, like, are you financially secure? Or is Stacy going to have to pay all the bills? Like, what is happening here? You know, Izzy seriously told Stacy, I'm not used to having a woman, like, she expects him to pay for dinners. And he's like, what? So I feel that they are not aligned. And so because of that, even though they have like this great banter and this energy, if I have to put like what's going to happen, like who's going to say yes or no, like even though I was kind of really rooting for them, I'm thinking no. Like I'm thinking Izzy might say yes, because for him it's like a huge win to get Stacy, because she's like a catch and a half and has all her shit together and she's amazing and would only make him better, you know. But can really, like, will he show up? Does he want to grow? Will he take those steps? Like, I don't know. And should Stacy invest her time and energy and heart into that? I don't know. Oh my God. So I'm kind of like rooting for them, but I think it might be a no. I don't know. You guys, this is insanity. This show is so good. If you have not seen Love is Blind, you need to get on the Love is Blind, you know, whatever you call it, train, bandwagon, because it's awesome. And actually, at the end of the day, nobody may get married. This show is supposed to be like, who's going to say yes at the altar? Like, literally nobody might say yes. Like, everyone might say no. But like, I feel like you guys can learn from it. You guys can learn, like, oh, shit, what not to do. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's so good. And the other thing I love, and I have to end on this, how they're also vulnerable and they're open. I love that. So I feel like this is a good thing for you guys to see that and to bring that into your day-to-day life. How does that look like? How do you communicate with people? Are you emotionally connecting? Are you available? So I want to hear from you guys. Is this resonating with you? I love when you guys comment on my YouTube or you send me messages on my Instagram. Reach out to me. I love you guys. I love this audience so much. This community is such a force, women and men. I want to hear from all of you guys. And do not settle for anything less than crazy love, because it has to be crazy love or nothing. Until next time. Bye.